All right, welcome. This lecture is going to give you some tips and tricks on Word. In your project guide, you'll find the Word project. And you'll also find behind it this Word shortcut keys document, which gives you a nice little cheat sheet on some of the key functions we're going to go over. And then also there's a link in the project guide to this Word practice document. And we'll use this to highlight some of the features of Word and show you what I'm doing. So if you want to, you can open this and play along as I'm going so that you get some practice. Okay, so we're going to go through this list of shortcut keys to start with. Control A is very handy. In most software platforms, it highlights everything in the document or everything in the field. You can use it in Excel, Google, all kinds of places. The next one here, Control B, U, and I suspect most of you know about. But if I pick a word and I go Control B, I, or U, that will bold it, underline it, put it in italics. The C, X, and V are your control, are your copy, cut, and paste. So if I have this here and I go Control X, that will make it disappear, and then Control, I can move it somewhere else and hit Control V and it'll paste it there. If you do it with just the Control C as opposed to Control X, it leaves the original in place and then puts it in a new place as well. So I'll talk in a second here, but if I want to reverse some of these things, Control Z in most platforms lets me back out and undo some of those changes that I did. That's extremely handy. Okay, the other one that you should know and think about using in a lot of different platforms is the find and replace. So oftentimes if you're looking for a specific word or issue on a web page, as opposed to scrolling, it's faster to just go Control F and then search for the specific term that'll have what you need. But if I'm over here and I want to find every example where I say you, it'll highlight those and it'll let me navigate to those throughout the document. What this is really handy for, if you find that there's a certain way that you're approaching something and you want to this is really handy for if you're working with a data kind of thing and you want to replace something. So, let's say you have some document you're working with and you have a bunch of different things all formatted in the same way. If I want to get rid of this line here before these different items, I can go Control H as in Henry, and it finds all those cases and it asks me what I want to replace it with. So in this case, if I just leave it blank, it'll pull it out and not replace it with anything. So when I hit replace all, it'll get rid of all those, which it's fairly handy if you have a long document that you're doing a bunch of similar changes in. Okay. Some more things here. When you're editing in a document, this oops. If you're working in a paragraph and you want to move forward or backward and delete things, Control Delete will suck the words into your current location, erasing words that come after where the cursor is. Control Backspace does the opposite. It erases, but it's going backwards as opposed to pulling future text or text that's further down into the cursor. So both of those are pretty handy. Just change this back. Okay, in terms of navigating, getting to different spots in the document, if I go Control Home, that takes me to the very top. Control N takes me to the very bottom. And then if I go Control up or down, that moves me paragraph by paragraph. So it lets you, especially if you have a bunch of big paragraphs, it lets you move up and down pretty quickly. So that's all these three things. Okay, and then last, within a paragraph, instead of just using the arrow key to move one character at a time, if I hold down the Control key, it jumps word by word. And so if you're trying to just move around in a paragraph quickly, keep those in mind. I would practice those because you'll find over the years it'll save you a lot of time using those shortcuts. Okay, so some formatting things. If I highlight this text here and I want to make it a bigger font, I can just go bigger font, Control, and use the right bracket will make it bigger. Control left bracket will make it smaller. All right, then the next thing I have here is Control L, E, and R. This comes in handy if you want to justify text to the right, in the middle, or to the left. So R is right justified, L is left justified, and E is in the middle. So that comes in handy. And this works in some other programs as well. If you want to indent a paragraph, Control M indents the paragraph. And then this is probably the most important one. If you don't know this already, this is extremely handy. All right, next is the format painting brush. So I'm going to highlight part of this paragraph here that has the format that I want to capture. I come up, I hit the format brush, and Word can be a little finicky here, especially the online version. But I'm going to drag this over this entire paragraph, and it standardizes it. Now, you notice it's a little finicky, like I said. It didn't quite capture the spacing between the line spacing, so let me try that again. But it should be able to capture that line spacing too. There we go. Okay. And now again, I can highlight this area. Grab the paintbrush and come down here. All right, so now by using that format brush, I've got all these three paragraphs in the same style. Okay. There's also a bunch of system shortcuts. So if I want to open a new document, that's Control N. So boom. Oops. Forgot. If you're in Firefox, Firefox thinks that means you want to open a different browser tab. So sometimes there's conflicts between some of these, but I think that works in Chrome. But some of the other ones here, I'm just going to highlight all these. And I think I'll just talk through them because I don't really need to show you. So Control O gives you different options to open things. And then these two are really helpful. Control Y duplicate something. So any action you just did, it'll replicate it. Control Z I've been using and showing you, that's undo the last action. Control P will open the print window, and then Control S is save. And again, try these in other programs. Control P and Control S are pretty universal as well. Okay, some viewing tricks. If you scroll or use the wheel button on your mouse with the Control key down, that zooms in and out. And another little trick here is if you go Control Shift and then the asterisk key, it'll show you the paragraph markings, which is helpful sometimes if you're trying to diagnose like why something isn't lining up right or why something is has an extra space in it. But it'll show you where these carriage returns are for the paragraph, and it'll show you things like page break and that stuff. Okay, so that's this stuff. Two other little things here. If I do want to insert a page break, Control Enter does that. And if I want to insert a hyperlink, this works in a bunch of programs as well. But I highlight a word, and then Control K, and it'll give you the chance to put in whatever the link is. And that way, once you do it, you don't have the whole crazy URL messing up your document. You just have a hyperlink, and it hides that, the address. Okay, so that's it for the shortcuts. I hope you found some of those useful. Please, please, please practice those, because once you get used to them, you use them all the time. Okay, I'm going to show you two last things. One, the outline function. So outline is extremely useful for organizing your thoughts and getting ready for papers and that kind of stuff. But you can come up here and you can just make a bullet point, but what I want to show you is how you have these multi-level lists. So this is the classic one, you'll see. And then for the things that I want to push to a lower level, if I go Control M, that'll push them down. And then I come down here, again, Control M. You can also mess with it. Let me make this bigger for a second. You can mess with it. Where is it? There's a way to do it with the menu, but I'm not seeing it right now. All right, I'm going to skip that. Okay, and then there's also headers that you can do. And let me show you what that looks like. Oh, I'm going to turn off my paragraph thing just because that's kind of getting annoying. So that's Control Shift asterisk. Okay. All right. So let's make this a new. Got a new page here. Okay. So headers. So let's say that I want fruits is going to be a different style header than the other thing. Right now, this is all just normal text. But if I highlight this, or I should say, if I select this, no, I don't want a translator word. Okay, and go to Styles, I can change this to heading 1. And I can set up banana as a second level header. So I can change that to heading style 2. And then the different kinds of bananas is going to be heading style 3. Boom. So each heading you can predefine as having certain characteristics. So like this one, the heading 1 is bold and underlined. A certain size font, and you can see smaller font here for heading 3. But I can go down and apply that to the other ones. So you'll notice here I have veggies below. So you can also do the thing with the formatter. So I'm going to do that to apply it to veggies, heading 1. And I can apply that to desserts as well. Those are my 3 heading 1 headers. Okay, all right, once I got a style defined, if I change my mind, like I want it to be a little bigger, I just increase the font size, I can go and go up here to Styles and find heading 1. And if I right click on it, it says update heading 1 to match selection. So then you'll notice that veggies and desserts changed as well. So the idea is once you've applied things with a logical level of headings, if you want to change those later on, you don't have to go through and change everything individually. You can just do one massive change. Okay, so I'm going to fix some other things here. So pear, it should be at the same level as banana. Apple, these three need to get demoted a level. Oops. So I need to select heading 3 for those. Orange and tomato are right. Carrot, lettuce, and onion is right. So down here for desserts, I'm going to go fruit-based should be at level 2. Let me check that. Oops. Oh, so up above here, I'm sorry, I messed up. So banana right now is still normal if you click on the styles function, and I want it to be heading 2. There we go. So now that I have it heading 2, I can come here with pear. Oops. And highlight those two. And I can set these to heading 2. There we go. These are going to be heading 2. All right, and then apple pie is going to be heading level 3 because it's a certain kind of fruit-based pie, and then chocolate-based is going to be heading 2, and chocolate torte is going to be heading 3. This one I did not do right. There we go. Okay, so this is really helpful if you're writing a long paper, if you're writing an APA style and you want to do this. But define these headings and then you can change them easily. It's a little bit of work to get it set up, but it then makes your whole document a lot easier to manage. Okay, that's it. I hope you found that useful, and you'll practice some of that in the project. Okay, thank you.